Forget taking it to the max. In spite of its name, this little Ford takes the MPV theme to the minimum. The B-Max is about as small as a people carrier can get. It's based on the best-selling Fiesta Super Mini.
You may think that such a small car wouldn't cut it as a family motor, but Ford thinks the sliding side doors and the gaping hole that's created when they're opened really make all the difference. They're certainly unique. Rivals such as the Kia Venga, Skoda Roomster and Nissan Note have conventional doors, and only the Vauxhall Meriva does something slightly different with its rear hinge doors.
You buy an MPV for versatility, and the B-Max makes a really good stab at this.
The boot is bigger than the Fiestas at 318 litres. That's enough for a good week's shopping, but it probably isn't big enough for a family of four's luggage.
Both rear seats and the front passenger one fold flat, giving you a 2.3 metre long load space.
But the rear seats don't slide backwards and forwards, and that means this car isn't quite as versatile as, say, something like a Nissan Note.
The sliding rear doors don't have any storage compartments though, and they're heavier than normal doors. This means they can be quite difficult to close from the inside. The B-Max can be had with a tiny 3-cylinder 1-litre engine.
Surely that's too small to haul a family around. Surprisingly, no. The secret is that turbocharger. It cuts in nice and early, giving it plenty of oomph around town.
There are 5 other engines on offer too. The cheapest is a 90 brake horsepower 1.4 petrol. It's not as fast or frugal as the 1 litre, but it does cost £3,000 less.
Yet, it's the more powerful version of the 1 litre petrol that claims the best combination of performance and economy. It'll hit 60 miles an hour in just over 11 seconds, and it claims to do 57 miles to the gallon.
The most expensive is a 1.6 diesel. That costs almost £19,000 in titanium spec. At which we found car makers' MPG claims can be overly optimistic. So we'll be putting Ford's claims to the test in our lab.
The B-Max is actually quite sporty to drive. It's got fast-acting steering and cornering that's safe but confident. All B-Max models come with something called torque vectoring. What that does is deliver power to each front wheel individually so that it helps it maintain grip. The gear lever is a bit notchy and rubbery, but it's nice and close to the steering wheel.
The rest of the controls are also well placed, although the fit and finish of some areas of the dashboard do lag behind rivals such as the VW Polo.
And the small LED display for the stereo and sat-nav looks really dated compared with newer rivals such as the Peugeot 208 and Toyota Yaris, which have big touchscreens. Visibility up front is great. But, ironically, for a car with no B-pillars, what would be a B-pillar when the doors are closed really is quite thick. And the back screen is pretty narrow too, so rear visibility really isn't that good.
So, does Ford's Mini MPV take it to the max against rivals?
Pretty much, yes. OK, so prices are rather steep. They start at just under £13,000, and if you want something like this 1 litre EcoBoost, you're looking at more than 16. But the B-Max is likely to be very reliable. That's because it's based on the Fiesta, and that was one of the best performing Super Minis in the 2012 car survey. Best of all, the B-Max is really good fun to drive. And that's not something we're used to saying about Mini MPVs. To find out more about Ford's B-Max, click on the link below.